All right, guys, good morning. So, I did a little work where I tried to catch up on some of the requests that people had for different markets. As I explained in some of the other videos, I ran into a couple issues on top of just being busy at one point. So, trying to get back on track and help you guys out with these videos, showing you different markets. But this one's more me just kind of digging at figuring out, you know, this application is unique in that it lets you filter ways, it lets you filter things, excuse me, in ways that other boards kind of don't. And if you know, or the if you have the urge and you mess with it long enough, you can kind of get a better insight as to what's going on with Amazon. And so, one of the things I've noticed as I looked at different markets, they've gone from paying the worst possible rates for team loads to paying some pretty decent rate. And what I think is happening is, with all the locations Amazon shut down, plus the highways that were shut down, plus some drivers just decided they're not going to drive in this. I mean, if you've got a really nice truck and it's pretty well polished out and your aluminum's all spiffied up and good looking and you painted the frame and you got this thing detailed out, you don't want to go run in the salt. And I get it. I've washed my truck, I'm going to say 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Pretty much every time I go north, once I get south, I go hit the car wash to try and get the salt off. It looks like it comes off as soon as you hit rain, but we all know it's underneath all over the chassis and, making a mess. And so there's a shortage of trucks. All around, that's just what it is. And so if we were to mess with the application a little bit, we can look at team loads, anywhere to anywhere. We'll remove the block because it interferes with some of the filtering I learned. And we're going to do price per distance highest. And just for the sake of not wasting our time with a bunch of really cheap short loads, set that to 1,000. And so, here we have 925 miles paying $3,800 for a team load. There's another one. Those are obviously the same load. That one's different because it's coming from Tucson, but it's still going up to Aurora. So obviously Aurora's hurting right now for merchandise because of where they're located. Every direction you come from, you have to throw chains on. You've got weather conditions. It's not easy going. But here's a load going from Pennsylvania to Memphis. It's just under 1,000 miles for $4,000. There's 847 miles at $4 a mile. There's another $4 a mile. There's another $4 a mile. I mean, these are loads that you can finish in a day. I mean, granted, you have to hope the freeway doesn't get shut down, but you get what I'm saying. At least in their schedule, they're showing as a day. And so, the team load all of a sudden went from being, Amazon's the worst paying in the whole industry to all of a sudden they've got $4 a mile loads for, up to 1,000 miles. If you're a team guy, if you have a team operation and you see these loads, that's where the money is at the moment. Of course, like this load here to Dallas, if they haven't reopened up all the Dallas locations, then it doesn't make any sense it pays $3,700. You can do it in a day, but if you sit there for 2 or 3 days because the location's closed, or you can't buy fuel to get out, um, that's not going to be bueno either. But as you can see, the market is flip-flopped for teams. There's a load to San Marcos, Texas, which I think San Antonio has their power back on. And so from Henderson, Nevada, I believe you can get over the 40 right now. But there's a couple of them, paying almost $5,000, and it says a day and 3 hours. That's doable with the team. And so if you can pull that off, get in, get out, that's going to make for a decent week. There's one going to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. I've been to that location. They are really quick. It's an easy place to get in and out of. That particular location primarily distributes Amazon branded items. By that I mean, if you get something that says Amazon on it as the brand name, that's what they do there. They do some partial assembly and they do distribution internationally. So the reason it's located at the airport is half of what you take there is actually going to get put on a plane, and it's going to go all over the world. At least that's what the lady that manages it told me one day when I was sitting there and she had time to chit chat. And so these are decent paying loads for teams. That's something that's kind of flip-flopped a little bit. Not a bad market at the moment. But as you can see, it's a lot of Texas and Aurora, the areas that got cut off due to the weather. And I know some of you are going to say, well, they didn't get nearly as much snow as we did in the Northeast. The difference is in the Northeast, you guys are set up for it. Your power grid has been set up to withstand freezing temperatures. You've got, plow trucks that salt the road. You guys are geared up for it. South Texas isn't. And so, they're suffering right now because of that. And Amazon's having to compensate. There's obviously a surge in orders now down in Texas. People are trying to buy stuff, whether it's jackets, a snow shovel. I mean, how many people in San Antonio do you think own a snow shovel? I don't think that many. And so, the market's in flux right now. And wise man once told me that, from chaos comes opportunity. If you're in a place where you can monopolize on this, it could work. But these are decent rates. These are decent rates, and if you have a team and you're ready to go, that might be worth your while. Let's look at what the single or solo looks like. And again, we have this to sort highest per mile with the minimum set at $1,000. So I'm not really interested in like the $45 a mile load that goes 3 miles. These are a little bit longer, but there's a 12-hour day. This isn't that outstanding. It's a 12-hour day. You'll do 108 miles. So you're going to make 4 moves for $1,100. I mean, that's a decent day's work. And so here you have 300 miles, a one-way to Aurora. You can do it in a day if the freeway's open and you don't have issues for $3,000. There's a load going to Memphis. I can tell you MEM1 will hold you. You have a 1 o'clock in the afternoon delivery appointment, you probably won't get out of there until 10 o'clock at night. That's just how MEM works. MEM1. There's one going to Texas, 174 miles for $1,000. 225 miles for $1,200. 202 miles for 1,000. 202 miles for 1,000. 220 for 1,096. And so as you can see, there's some decent loads right now, and it's primarily based on that. There's a shortage of trucks. I'm sure there's been an uptick in what people are ordering, and so that's creating a different market. If you're used to driving in the snow and bad weather, and you've got change to go into some of these areas, there's money to be made right now. And these are all still today loads. Anyways, I just wanted to give that quick little show of what's peaking out in the market. Been a while since I did something like that. Obviously right now, the timing's good for a driver if you can pull some of these loads off, get in and out of them. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching.